GMODISM, total nerdery channel.
Here we are. So we are very welcome to the stream here, everyone. Nova Galaxy, you're first. Very welcome. Rorsten, you're gonna lurk? Wait, don't you also stream right now? Anyways, hope your stream goes very well too. Arti, hello. Indeed, yellow. Right then. So we shall be doing some Q&A today, and I have my questions that are pre-posted. I have them prepared here. So I will get into the game. I think the simplest thing is probably to just paste the questions into the game so that we don't need to do all that weird stuff with, what can we call them? Yeah, I don't know. Weird things people that are very competent at streaming do when they have questions and cards and different screens popping up like that. That's more YouTube video style. It's like in the From the Depth dictionary video. We put it together so we have a pretty interesting way to see all the questions just with a big hologram tower, basically. Coffee is very nice. Desperately trying to de-dust my desk. Anyways. I wonder if I have the template that I used for the dictionary video left, because that would be pretty handy here. I think my mullet needs a updated haircut, most possibly. Well, not today. We need to update, we need to refresh those settings here. We don't need saddest performance. There we go. Sorry. Let's see here. Word book. We have it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have it. So, yeah, that's the word book, all right. So we're just going to paste our questions here. Pretty handy. All right then. So here we have the questions listed so far. Now the questions below here, I feel they are a little bit intrusive, so we shall delete them down there. So we can focus on the questions at hand. Pretty decent. Let's get going here. I don't know. Should we do we have, is it possibly a good idea to actually see if some of the people who asked the questions will pop in to the chat here or something, because I'm not quite sure if they'll fail to catch it, you know? Arti, I see you are here indeed. So these should be your questions. I guess we could actually take them first. Okay, RocketInator. Well then, welcome too. Well, in that case, we can just start from the top down, and maybe when we are at that point, perhaps our smart Dolphin will be able to join us. Who knows? We don't know. Have to scare you a little bit there. Right. So, RocketInator asks, the AI is having trouble keeping the right side facing the enemy. And that is... Gonna go here. This thing. That's an expensive thing. Alright. Ooh, looks very nice. So we're just going to God mode our platform in case we have any issues, you know. Alright. I thought my... Okay, now the sound isn't acting up, right? Okay, good. What is acting up, though, is that we can't have in-game music and other music. I fixed that top problem. I used breadboard. Okay, this one is fixed then, but this one has the problem of keeping the right side towards the enemy. Nice barrels. I like those barrels. Looking very, very, very nice. Okay. However, there is also a problem with using hydrate with coffee. Is that even a valid thing to hydrate with? Anyways. The problem is that if you use breadboard, in case you want to use it into the campaign or something like that, it may actually run aground, which might cause some issues too. So having things that are indeed, we hydrate again. Having things that have a breadboard will not work very well in campaign, because it will run aground and it will do all sorts of weird stuff that doesn't, you know, work very well. So I understand a 2.2 million combat design is probably not going to be in campaign, but if you want to have it in campaign, you probably should see if you can set it up with AI. Anyways, I can just check it here since I got it, and we have this thing here. We got right side only, circle at distance. We'll only turn the right side towards the enemy. Yeah, we're ignoring altitude, and the minimum approach angle is 0 degrees. Yeah. So we're like diving straight in there. And that can also be a thing. If you want to have circle at distance, you could set the minimum approach angle to I don't know, 45 or whatever, and it will probably work pretty well, you know? Anyways, I added front and bottom rubber spars to the bottom to prevent that. Yeah, but if you run aground, it will probably just sit there, you know? Unless you make it be rocket... No. So yeah, even if you do that, you know, it's not as functional. That's probably what I'm saying. Cravey. Lieutenant Cravey, very welcome. Hydrate with coffee. I will hydrate you short term, but in case, yeah, you go to the bathroom, dehydrate. Oh, yeah, that's quite true. I should probably catch some water too. Would be pretty reasonable. But I guess we can just spawn the classic Marauder and see if it will keep an angle straight or not, since it will have a little bit better approach angle. It won't approach the enemy dead on, and that might cause it to be okay. We'll add one of those instead then, so it lives a little bit longer. And having a breadboard might give you a more precise angle. That is indeed quite true. Oh my god. This is a pretty strong thing. Interesting to see though, we are really spamming some braggers here. The thing is though, that using using circle at distance will make it go back and forth a little bit like this. So what I usually like to do to make it a little bit better, in case, since we're already looking at it, right? I know it's already fixed, but thinking that, you know, since I saved it down, I might as well show it here. So for example, if we start closing into target above, I don't know, 3000, start broadside below, I don't know, like very far away, so like 3000 meter-ish, like this, broadside minimum range, just remove that and have a nominal broadside angle of 90 degrees. And we should probably set this to be only one side, right? So actually, simple broadside, broadside right. We can set this to maximum distance and minimum distance. So that's a little bit less hard to set up. Something like that, maintain 90 degrees. And it depends a little bit, that is very true, but I think it usually works a little bit better with a broadside setting. Anyways, Nova Galaxy says soon I will start on my MBB. Oh god, 6 ships. Well, good luck with that. Alex promo. I was able to make it. I have a free period. I guess I have luck on my side today. Well, glad you were able to make it due to this very nice luck. But yeah, so keeping a really sharp broadside angle, it's true, it can be pretty hard to make it do that. Okay. If we just... It's already despawning, you know? Nothing we can do is saving it. It just decides to die. Well, we can replace it with a insta crossbones, which it's very susceptible to fire, and it seems that you're bringing a lot of firepower, incendiary here, Rocket. But broadside to one of the sides like this, I think it tends to work better. So in case you wanna have a campaign craft or a campaign working craft, I suppose that you can try that instead of circle at distance. So this is my not bread fix. Good, you found the bread fix before it. That's very nice. But for anyone else that might have also wondered that, since you never know if someone refrained from asking that question due to it already being answered, or you know, that's how I'm thinking at least. But you can see it keeps a pretty sharp angle here, and that's due to this setting, right? Okay, we can let this die here, and I can just spawn. I can just spawn the Gimli, so we can just check it out a tiny little bit. Let's see here. Where are you? Draconia, Gimli. There you have it. Now, I'm not 100% sure what AI setting I set up in this. So, we're having a tiny bit of lag. That is quite certain. We also maxed out the settings, so I mean, what can I expect? Here we have the... let's see here. The Gimla is actually, instead though, a circle at distance, because this one is the max prior run, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. For some weird unexplainable reason, which I can't really... it's really good I spawned the Gimli here, because for some really weird reason I really can't explain in a very good way, because it shouldn't be like that, basically. But when you make an AI, and you have the, like, card slot here, and you have the plug-and-play cards, if you're using the plug-and-play circling ship, it seems to work a little bit better for some reason when you set it up via this thing than when you set it up them manually. I'm not sure if that's a bug or a feature or whatever the reason were, but when I built the Gimli, that was the that was what I was seeing here. Anyways, I should be catching up with the chat a little bit here. So, RocketInator, the main problem was that against faster Steel Striders, Lightning Hood craft, it would struggle with yawing to the enemy properly and would turn the wrong way. Yeah, because it tries to run away when it gets too close. With a breadboard though, I'll maintain to offset with a front sider bread already. So that's the thing you saw when I set up the minimum like distance. I set the minimum distance to like really far, and that is because it should not try and go away and run away when it gets too close. You want it to rather smash into the enemy than it losing that broadside angle if we're working with pure broadsiders. So the thing, like the Meg, would easily outrun the island. Outturn. Okay. Well, we can test and we can just this is a right side, right? No. So we can just spawn a Meg and see if we can uphold a straight angle, you know. The Gimli is very far away there, but I guess it will just do its thing. The Meg is pretty meaty. It will take a couple of hits before it buckles in. So it's also, of course, a maneuverability question. If it's just not enough maneuverability, it will lose the angle. But a lot of the time when ships are having the wrong angle, it's a lot of the times the case that it basically has a minimum range or something like that. God damn it, the Meg is kinda losing fast here. Now you can see it's I can see what we're meaning here, where we are smoothing, we're trying to turn here. But this is the sharpest angle it seems to be able to have. While still working pretty hard to maintain that angle. I think it remains pretty well in line though, but perhaps it has to be super precise. That's possible too, but yeah. That's possible too. Perhaps it needs to be super precise, and the bread is the only thing that can do that. That's also very possible. We're just gonna remove that, and well, the Meg can kind of self-die there a bit. So looks like Twitch is forcing an ad break upon us, as it usually does, which is a good thing, I guess. But I will indeed get some water in the meantime, right? So I'll be starting that 90-second thing, and I'll see you in a moment. Right, so I don't even know how Twitch ads works. Some get them and some don't, but I guess that depends on how many people have. But anyways, we are very much back, and I've gotten my water, which is nice. Anyways, the funny joke about this water bottle, which I obviously designed with the Army of GMODISM logo, is that I measured it, and it would be 67 millimeters if it was an ammo shell. So I tried to make it look like an ammo shell, and that's you know the Vigoletta marksman guns, and the I have some new sandblaster guns too, and they're all 67 millimeters, and this is 67 millimeters because from the depth that's like tiny, and in reality, like, imagine a shell like this, it's like insane. It's like decent size for a tank or something. Well, the Meg is burning there, but I think we should remove it and continue with the next question. I'm realizing I'm not the fastest one. Anyways, Arti asks, or Arti, ring shields versus planar shields. When does it become more effective than each other, i.e. cost per value? When are the ring shields better, basically? And I think we have this question down there too, but we do it in order here. So ring shields can be really good in cases where you're having like the water-based front-sider. Can see if I can find it here. Battleships. Somewhere around here. I think I saved it here somewhere. Shipmaster Kent. Water-based front-sider. We shall check that out. And like this. And like this here. So, I do. It's possible that this has planar shields too, that I'm very aware of. But I thought it had not planar shields, but instead ring shields. Let's see here. If I can see the system. So I guess we're going to cycle. I remove the blocks that are not important. Well, of course they're important, but you know. Gonna check here. No? Okay, well, never mind then, I suppose. I thought it had ring shields because it. This is a design that would be that's classically always used with ring shields. It would be a pretty good design to have ring shields on. So when you're having a ship that has like a very thick front layer where you like have front siders most notably, you often want ring shields to protect them. Since we can really boost the AC class when we're using, for example, a front sider that has, you know, heavy armor as the layer in front of it. Especially if we have like stacked heavy armor, we already have a pretty decent armor class, of course. If you check there. We have like 72, and in the back of this ship, like in the furthest back, we can have a ring shield there. I'm just gonna see defense. I'll just use the ring shield example. I'll just add a couple of them. Okay, we got a lot of Onyx watch. Crafts have ring shields. I need to check out the game more. Anyways, this little array of ring shields, now we have 80 AC, and of course that's a lot better because many people only design shells to be able to take on maximum DAP class of like not stacked heavy armor, because otherwise you risk the risk of over penetrating and stuff. But if you have ring shields that are boosting a heavy armor surface, you can make it like silly effective, and it deals a lot of damage, you know? Deals a lot of damage. So that's like the most practical example. Now, technically, you actually get the most out of using the ring shields if you are trying to armor boost something like wood. Stupidly enough, I know. People rarely do. And I can't say that I built different ships with wood only that uses ring shields to use that metric. But now you can see the AC is 18. And of course, these wood blocks are like extremely cheap. Remember that 1 square meter of wood is so much cheaper than 25. So to pay for 1 square meter of wood, just one, you can instead have 25 of wood instead of heavy armor. If you want to pay for 1 square meter of heavy armor, you can instead have 25 wood. So that's the insane cost difference. So even these blocks are so cheap. It's the cheapest health point bonus. And suddenly they have a heavier armor class now. Now the AC bonus is of course only valid for the top layer of it. So, but as it gets destroyed, that like outer rim is kind of changed. So you can imagine that if we do not build this ship out of heavy armor, but instead make it out of wood, only wood, we have a lot of materials, right, to be able to use to build a lot of ring shields and have a lot of energy generation so that we can make our wood pretty strong. Like now we're at 21, and of course you want them as big as possible. So yeah, having a lot of ring shields makes it so that wood can be super strong. That's theoretically the strongest way to use ring shields. Now there is a problem though. Ring shields won't really protect you very much when we're dealing with fire damage. So after the update with a fire, ring shields effectively got a little bit weaker than planar shields. Generally though, having planar shields is always the better option, to be honest, because that doesn't just reduce the damage you're taking, it also reduces, you know, damage from laser straight off a little bit there, and it can deflect doomcram shells completely. Yeah, it's kind of like that, you know. So yeah, planar shields are are generally better in almost all cases. Now, ring shields have their uses, but be very sure that you have to build specifically for the ring shield if you want to have ring shield. Generally, your ship can only be attacked from like two sides or something like that, so it can be front or back, left or right, up or down. You can't have ring shields all over the place, and that would just be too big of an investment. So if you want to have ring shields, you really need to spread it out. So we have ring shields on different places so they don't get shot, but they all are enforcing the same side. So ring shields is almost always better for one-siders, or most notably front-siders. Yeah. I think a ring shield would be the best thing you can have when you are faced with sandblasters. If you are getting sandblasted, it's probably the only like area where I just straight off think of having ring shields is probably better than planar shields. That's the only like specific scenario I can think of. But honestly, I played around a little too little with ring shields to know for sure. But theoretically, making wood strong is the best thing you can do with the ring shield. So do with that what you will. Arti, the next question is related. How to use protect ring shield systems and planar and effective methods of doing so. Yeah, so if you want to protect ring shields and planar shields, we have some different things we can do. But by the way, you said Onyx Watchcrafts has a lot of ring shields. I suppose we can actually check out one of them. Do you remember straight off some of the designs that would have it? I'll just spawn a random one here. We can pause the game here and just check it out a little bit. This is not the biggest thing here. Nah, maybe not here. It should be maybe like larger stuff. Trebuchet, maybe? That should be a... Now we have planar shields. So one thing to know... Oh, that planar shield isn't connected, right? No, that is... here. It's hard to say when... when it is like that. All right, maybe just painted. Well, in any case, I think we should warp to the word book. The Motte has a ring shield. Singularity has ring shields. Oh yeah, that's right. The Singularity. I do know that has ring shields. Why did I put the word book Oh, I failed to warp to it. I instead put it out of play. And we should make it God mode again. Anyways. I guess they'll just have to lag there a little bit. So, here we have it. God, how far away did I spawn this thing? I've got stuff to do. I'll be back in 20-40 minutes as RocketInator. So hold on any of my questions for later, would you? Absolutely, I will. Okay. Mistaken Falcon. Very welcome to the stream and channel. Thanks for the follow. We're just gonna spawn here. So here we have, okay, so here we have ring shields like this. And I can say straight away that these ring shields are not protected in the best way, but we are now enforcing the AC class on in front of the vessel here, which is a really good thing here. Here we can see it should metal slope AC. If we just lock on here, I suppose it will load up a little bit. 60. Yeah. Armor class 50. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So we have pretty strong stuff going on there. Since you already know that metal is usually having a armor class of 40, we have a 50% boost. So also, the smaller the vehicle is, the stronger that shield is. Yeah. So having ring shields can... Now, I haven't built too many that small crafts with ring shields, so I would not say for 100%, but ring shields can be pretty good on smaller crafts. Now, this is a theory I have. I haven't tested it yet, but I think that having small wooden crafts with ring shields should theoretically be a pretty good deal, honestly. That's a case where you might as well get away with using that rather than projector shields, right? Anyways, the crafts floating around there, I'll guess the Gimli will have to take it out. Oh. This thing, these tiny shells, this is 67 millimeters. It's this size IRL. It's this thick. Isn't that pretty insane? Yeah. Anyways, since it already was hanging around there. So we shall be moving on, but ignoring RocketInator's questions until it's back. How increasing armor value affects defense? From what I heard a long time ago, the actual armor pierce value needs to be like double to deal the full damage. So I can tell you that when we're looking at the AC value here, we go here and we check intakes and we look at this shell. And we can see this little sandblaster shell here. Wait, this is 72 millimeter. It's not 67 as I thought. Sorry. So these shells we just looked at are actually a bit bigger than that. Never mind. If we look at this, you can see that the expected kinetic damage is like 300, very small, but the expected armor pierce is 43. Now, 43. If it should deal full damage to the target, if it should deal full damage, it just needs to have the expected armor class that's the same or just above the surface armor class. So the AP value just needs to be slightly above the armor class. Before, a long time before, when they have the before they had the update, I think it was several years ago, the armor class had to be 2 times the armor piercing shell that, no, other way around. The armor piercing value had to be 2 times as much as the armor class it would hit to deal full damage, as you said, Arti, but they changed that, so now it's the same. It's like similar value. Unity Earth. How deep do these lies go? Well, which misconceptions in from the depth, or what are you thinking about? But in any case, the AC value just needs to be slightly above or same, or to deal full damage. Well, anyways, Unity Earth. Well, very welcome to the stream, Clown. So, APAC is same, if you have higher AP than AC, you will deal full damage, but you don't need to have that. It's actually better to have a slightly below, an AP value that's slightly below the AC value you're shooting at. It's so easy to mix up AP and AC, and it makes things really confusing. I think so too. At least they mean the same now, right? So that's at least good, but I agree it's really confusing. If you look at this shell here I designed for Fort SA Sandblaster, it has a armor piercing class of 43, and that's actually, if we were shooting at metal, right? If we were shooting at regular metal, that would actually not be a good setup. It would not. Because here you can see that, god damn it, I need to remove these ring shields because they are really messing up the stats. When I'm trying to explain something, they just mess it up completely. Okay. Right, now. Now we have AC 40. And this have an AP class of 42, which means it has more armor class. It has more armor piercing value than the armor class, and that effectively wastes damage. So optimal to shoot at 1 single meter of like metal would be to have like 39 armor piercing value to deal with 40 armor piercing armor class, But a thing is that it is 42 because it wants to be slightly above, because almost all cases the metal is backed by something. Here we have 48 when it's backed by another sheet of metal, and what I like to use very often is backing it with wood, and then we have like 41.6, so then we still deal full damage when we have one sheet of metal backed with wood. So that's basically the logic of it. You generally wanna undershoot the AP value to the AC class of what you're shooting at. I hope I got that right. I got that in right order, slash with the right words. But yeah, they changed it. Before, it was a weird equation. Now AP, AC is basically interchangeable. AC is about taking damage, AP is about dealing damage. That's it. So, can Lord Eric of the GMODISM Empire make a tutorial for breadboards? Yeah, so I really like to do that sometime. That would be awesome, except that I need to learn bread properly first to be able to make a tutorial about it. So the question is hopefully in the future. Now, I don't know if Smart Dolphin is here, but it's also, time zone thing. So perhaps our very smart Dolphin, which is perhaps in another time zone and catches the VOD. But anyways, I will make a breadboard tutorial when I can. 1 second, I'll be right back. I'll just need to clear out my throat. There we are. Hopefully my throat works better now, so that's a nice thing. Now, RocketInator, you're not back right yet. Tell me if you are. Omicron. Is maybe Omicron here? I don't know. I suppose we can actually remove some answered questions from the list to, well, you're probably not getting confused. It's just me. So we can just jump over some of those there, right? I guess we'll just continue from top down. It's very possible that we have some people watching the stream but not saying anything. So and Arti, if it's possible that you have like a question about that, just to clarify, having the AP a little bit lower, or lower than the AC, it's completely fine. It's scaled, so if it's like 99% like below, it will deal that amount of damage. If your AP is like half of that of the armor class you're shooting at, you will deal half the damage basically. Learned a lot of things while getting back into From the Depth. I feel you there, because I started playing the game extremely early, and I got so angry at From the Depth. Not the game's fault. It crashed all the time. It crashed so often I was completely crazy. So I stopped playing it for my mental health sake, because I couldn't build for an hour of it not crashing, So then, but until that point, I obviously learned a good bit From the Depth, and then when I came back again, it's like, okay, everything is new. I don't know this game anymore. Everything has changed, and fortunately, most things changed to the better. So I was very happy, and at that point, I got stuck. I played it during the time where Robaz, the Swedish famous YouTuber, made a lot of Ragnarok crafts and stuff like that. Yeah, but I didn't really enjoy From the Depth that much at that time because of the lag. Anyway, Omicron Mark 1. What are your thoughts on paddle wheels as propulsion systems? Also, would it be considered cheese in a tournament setting like the Game of the Battles? So, I would absolutely not consider paddle wheels to be cheese or weird or unfair in any way. They can give a lot of propulsion, but they also take huge amounts of engine power to run. Oh yeah, and Arti, it's like the same. When I played it before, of course, they were having all sorts of materials. It was like crystal and whatever, and then they changed just the materials. But they still changed materials, fuel, and ammo to be different things. So you had to have like ammo converters or whatever on every single thing you made. But now it's only mats, and the fuel / ammo is not separate and just changes itself. But it was fun. It was fun. I don't know if I want to spawn this thing due to nah, it probably will lag a little bit more than necessary, but never mind. We shall be getting to our fleets and forces. Holy Metropolis Protector Fleet, Super Davidos class, Super Battleship Mark 1. Here we shall indeed go. So we're gonna load this thing in, and also hope that the game doesn't crash. Yeah, it doesn't crash. The Super Davidos class is actually not that laggy. Just when it spawns a little bit, it can be a little bit laggy. We just pause the game and look at this thing here. I don't think it says how much propulsion necessarily it uses. Let's see here, where is the spin block on this thing, I wonder? It should be... Maybe it's... Okay, there we are. Okay. Please don't watch too closely. So it uses 46,000 power per paddle wheel. It uses 46,000 power per paddle wheel. So they're taking a lot of power too, if you want them to provide a decent amount of thrust. Maybe we can... Maybe it says here somehow. Nope. Really doesn't. Oh wait, maybe it does. What were those? Oh, here we have a lot of lines there. So, and they're like, you can see they're like going back and forth, you know, since they are trying to go like instantly into the direction it's gonna turn. So we have like thrust this way, so it's basically like tank steering too. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I wonder if it may be saying somewhere the effectiveness of paddle wheels. I haven't played with them too much lately, honestly. It was last time where we had a team tournament with the steampunk theme. One of the crafts even had to use a paddle wheel there. But yeah, spin blocks. Here you can see them, 70,000-ish. Yeah, probably want, I don't know where to get those exact settings, because each of these individual lines is of course per thing there. But we could just potentially test if we warp to this thing and just moves forward. Let's see. are we having a pretty optimal... Yeah, so we can get up to like... I don't know what the top speed of this thing is, but paddle wheels, they're cool. They're definitely not cheese. I don't think so, because if you shoot that spin block off, it's the entire craft is super dead anyways. But you can see 45 meters per second, which is decent. And if we go into here, and just I guess we should just... I guess we'll just delete the spin blocks. Like that. Yep, now they're gone. I'm trying to speed up again. It will be so much harder to get up to a decent speed. It will take a lot longer, and I think the top speed is gonna be considerably less too. But again, if we shoot them off, we're pretty weak. So we can obviously get up to almost 45, so we only gain like 2 meters per second extra or something. But we shall be getting back to the questions. I think I'm talking a lot about other stuff as well. We shall teleport. Great. So, our next question. Smart Dolphin asks, what are the most effective weapons? What are your most effective weapons ever made in terms of firepower per material? Your own feeling, since the firepower material isn't always accurate. Ooh, firepower per material is indeed not a very accurate setting there. I would suspect... Now, I have so many weapons there in my folders, so I guess we're going to spawn some best guesses, which perhaps can be the Icarus class A flamer, maybe? Let's spawn that there. Because I think flamers have pretty good firepower per material. Then we obviously have cram cannon, the detonators. I think the Mark III of the detonator is of course better, but I suspect that the original detonator has the best firepower per material. And this is the turret that's used on the Gimli. But the Gimli uses Super S-Dave class Mark II, should be said. Ooh, the Holy Pyre might have good settings too. Firepower per material, you know, I have some class C crams. I think this one has a pretty good firepower per material, honestly. We're gonna check them out. That's some guesses. About the best firepower per material APS cannons, it's definitely the new Fort SA system, which is already spawned there. From my own feeling, I definitely think that where is it now? From my own feeling, I think that the Vigoletta systems is pretty good. Both this one, of course, but I'm thinking specifically about the one on the gimlet that has proven itself so many times in so many battles, like a silly amount of battles, that it really held up. It's the M5. Here we go. Is there any... Oh, and from my own feeling, of course, it has terrible stats, but obviously it's a very good and, you know, a little bit cheaty system. It has to be said. But we have the Octodad diff gun. This is like 8 diff guns on one turret. And the material per firepower, or yeah, that's I guess the stat we should be looking for. Material per firepower, 367 is a diff gun. Yeah, they're a little bit different because they have different shells, of course. If we compare to this one, which I feel is very strong too. Now we apparently have some ad break. Well, they just tend to pop in there. Yeah. Twitch forces them upon me. I wish it would be a, you know, I guess I should just have a timer that I can time in better when we run the required ads, but Salamit Bonen, very, very welcome to the stream. Very welcome. So anyways, material per firepower here is 951, which is nice. And for the detonator here, we can see we have material per firepower here, 500. These then. Yeah. They're a little bit uneven, of course, because here we have like 400 and here we have 900, so it depends. Since it's a dual barrel system, it's a little bit hard to actually calculate. But Doom Cram usually has some pretty good firepower per material, but honestly this one is reloading a tiny little bit too fast. It would actually be a little bit beneficial if it reloaded a little bit slower. So in case we would add some more payload compactors, our reload speed would now be instead just a little bit, okay. Yeah, but we'll change the firepower per material a little bit then. Now the flamer, how can that be now? Material per firepower. You know, it's a pretty small system, so it has some decent firepower. And a lot of other people are talking about volume per firepower as well, so that's also a stat to keep in mind. Now what is this here? Material per firepower, 1751. Ooh. Well, these are just a handful of them. I haven't listed and sorted each and one of them, because that I don't know. It's pretty interesting though to see materials. Power and health stats. So how much is it using? That's pretty interesting too. One material for every... It uses like materials per second for 1 firepower. So this should be as low as it can be, right? That's good. That's efficient stuff. So you have 1.19. If we go to this one, no, wrong stats. It's 0.48. No, what am I saying? It's 0.23, of course. And this one, which I feel is pretty good, is of course even lower, so it should be better there. But if you look at this thing, which objectively should be one of the better, we have materials per 1 firepower. Oh, it's actually pretty similar to, all right. One of these will be very skewed. Materials for 1 firepower, 0.42. And 0, okay, no, not very. Material for 1 firepower, okay, they are actually not that different, most of them, which is pretty interesting. Materials per second for 1 firepower. So we can clearly say that the most efficient one is probably just a pure flamer system. They are configured a little bit differently, but these different ones, they're connected up to different types of tanks, so they're doing a little bit different stuff. But yeah, supposedly it seems that the flamers are taking the win home there. So that is the answer to that question. Anyways, Smart Dolphin asks, do ring shields help against the fire armor class debuff? Like how much fire decrease blocks? How much fire decrease blocks AC exactly? It depends if you have oxidizer or not. But if you have like oxidizers, if the block is half health and has burned, it's basically the AC classes it doesn't exist anymore. So it's pretty brutal. And I don't think ring shields help with the armor class debuff much at all, to be honest. But we need to try that. So, if we're having a couple of these, and just there, so we have something to look at. And we're going to have... we need different icons for these things, man. Intensity 20 or whatever. We're gonna have a good bit of oxidizer here. And then we can look at this. We need to remove this thing here. AC health is dropping and dropping and dropping. And you can see, yeah, armor class is very, very, very tiny there. We'll look at this one here. Health. 89%, so it hasn't burnt too much yet. But it's dropping down. Stop repairing, please. See, the AC is a 1 here. 50. Oh yeah, this metal block's AC is ish 3. So we're gonna do like this. And we're going to do like that. We're gonna start the same fire in the same place. We're gonna watch the stats here again. 2, 1. Yeah. It seems to not work at all. Doesn't seem to protect it. You can see, and below 50% it drops completely. It's possible. I don't, from this quick little look and test, it doesn't look like it works at all. But if it works, it's just so little that it basically doesn't matter right now anyways. The fire update made shields better be projector shields. Indeed. So, how much does fire decrease blocks armor class exactly? Yeah, that depends. It depends how much, how low is the health, and is there oxidizer there? Because if you don't have oxidizer, it's more like a linear decrease like that. But if you have oxidizer below 50%, it's just the block has no armor. Right. So John McFist, is there anything in From the Depth that you do not know very well but would like to? Well, looks like you already know. It's indeed breadboard. I would like to know breadboard better, but I don't know breadboard a lot at all. So I would say that. Necro Programming, well, very welcome to the stream where we are answering the questions. So yeah, breadboard, I would like to know more about breadboard. There might be more things that I would like to know more about. So I would say things I would like to know more about despite outside breadboard is probably, oh yeah, warpers. I don't play around a lot with warping stuff. I would like to know a little bit more about warping. That's not very hard, but I just haven't checked out that very much yet. RocketInator is back temporarily. You got more stuff to do in a while. I'll see. Warp cheese with bread? Oh yes, so I heard. It's crazy. Other things I would like to know more about. So chaff emitters, I theoretically know how they work, but I don't really know how they work, you know? I haven't played around with chaff emitters enough to kind of understand them fully. So I would like to do that a little bit. Oh yeah, Arti, warp nuking, warping nukes and stuff. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Are there more stuff I would like to know more about here? I guess I would like to know some new cool ways to set up melee weapons in a automated and very cool way, but that all probably includes warping. No, that probably includes breadboard. Now I don't know what I'm saying, so. But in any case, one thing I would like to know about that also is using a lot of spin blocks and piston and whatever and making mechs, because that of course includes a breadboard, but I want to make mechs with a clampy foot. That is probably the thing I would like to know the most, actually. Submarines. Oh yeah. Necro programming. Submarines is... I know the feeling in adventure mode. I'm getting very angry at the submarines ruining your day. Right. So John asks another question here. Is there anything you would change, or actually, perhaps we can return to RocketInator's questions there, since you're on top of there, or here for 15 minutes temporarily. So how many hours do you have in From the Depth? Yeah, so I don't think it changed since last. No, it didn't change, right? It's like 2,200 hours ish. Yeah, I think it's 2,200 hours. It should say on my Steam profile if you want to keep updated. That's true also. So 2,200 hours. I do think I remember ish that amount. The last I checked. And RocketInator, what is your favorite APS shell for any given battle? That's a really hard one, but I would say armor piercing secondary charge, so AP heat. Yeah, that's a pretty reliable way to deal damage. Or Cravey. One day I wish I had an AI. That would be nice to have some very easy to understand UI, where you just tell it what you want it to do and it autocodes for you. I would definitely agree with that, Gravy. It's a very good idea from our lieutenant. Necro programming is a hash enjoyer. Well, hash can be useful in certain scenarios, but once you know how to defend against hash, it is not as effective. But everyone has to take into account to defend turret caps and the turret itself against hash, because if you don't, you're just gonna get obliterated. Shotgun King, hash heat, even though I know it's a bad combo. Yeah, I think it's pretty fun. Hash heat, I know. Sanamit is if someone defends against hash, just use more hash. Well, that's a fair point too. You can always use more hash, but in all honesty, if we're gonna go kinetic, just bring frag, you know? Just bring frag. It's just better. Laser 180 degree time fused AP frag. Don't even need a armor piercing head. You can use a heavy head if you have a same armor piercing. So frag, just bring frag, time fuse frag. Anyways, necro programming. I think 9 barrels of 500 millimeter hash is enough. Sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't. It depends what the opponent brings, but better bring that spall liner if anyone brings 9 barrels of 500 millimeter hash. 4 times 50 millimeter hash at max RPM. Oh, that's insane too. Quite literally having builds. Yeah, that's a good way to destroy turret caps that are trying to be sleek and don't have air gaps inside of them. Turret heads. Where you have turret caps or turret heads, you'll need to incorporate some type of air gap. I usually do it with poles. It's probably one of the only area where I actually actively use poles, but if you don't have anything, you will be a very sad. Yeah. But favorite APS shell, I think it's armor piercing secondary charge, because it doesn't matter if you have a spall liner. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a spall liner or an air gap. Do I need to say more? Necro programming. In our Discord, we have the little Q&A live thread channel thing. You can post new questions there, but I will first ask the questions that were posted before the stream started. But that's the easiest way, or you could also hold the question until I'm done with this and you can post it in chat here, and I'll be seeing it also, of course. But if you post a question now, I probably will miss it, you know? So then we are getting here. Is there? Maybe we should RocketInator. Are you still here, or did you have to go? I don't know if you're still there. So, what is better for 8-meter outloaders? 500mm, or I guess you just have to say when you are going away. Until then, I'll assume that you are still here. Was it better for 8-meter autoloader, 500mm or 400mm? Well, that kind of depends if you want to have a very deeply armor-piercing shell, or if you want to have a chemical shell, right? If you want to have a chemical shell, you can just go to a shell designer. Here, no, pretend it's 500mm, right? And we're just gonna have max stuff here. So now you can see the clip length is 10 meters. That's too much. We don't have that much. So we need to decrease the parts until we can fit within 8 meters. And the optimal design here, of course, is if we have a no, filter head, thank you. Okay, we have an armor piercing, or rather, for this particular use, I think it would be better to have a heavy head like this. So we have a semi armor piercing explosive shell that requires 8-meter outloaders. It's really slow, like 400 meters per second, like snail speed, you know. But okay, that's pretty fast, but you know what I mean. But we deal insane amounts of damage. Look at this. We can deal 24,000 explosive damage, you know? That's like some smaller crams. Expect velocity, you know, pretty good chemical shell, right? But if this was a 400mm shell, you know, then we only need 7-meter clip, and then you always want to fill the outloaders as much as you can, right? And if we have a 400mm shell, right, we can have 20 parts, which means that this thing can go 500 meters per second suddenly. Now we're talking. Now we're gonna make a armor piercing thing here that's gonna go real deep into armor. We're gonna use gunpowder to really get it to like 1,300 meters per second. It's going elite meters per second, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see? It's elite. It says elite, you know? That means it's very good. But obviously, the heavy head is not what you want here. You want a armor-piercing head, unless you want to sacrifice some of that or a lot of that chemical firepower and pay for it, you know? Get it to penetrate a lot deeper and pay for it with doing less damage. To be specific, kind of just a fourth. So it's a pretty big thing. Anyways. Clever Blue Wave. Hello and very welcome to the little stream here. So yeah, exactly like Sanamit said there. For chemical shells, 500mm. For kinetic shells, 400mm. That's basically what I said here. If we don't have a payload on this, like we'll just have solid warhead bodies, a sabot head like that, it goes even quicker. Look at that thing. It's really quick now. And you can see expected armor pierce value 71. Stacked heavy armor, not our problem. Not our problem. Expected, yeah. But of course the kinetic damage is only 14,000, which is a bit, you know. But really, if you're gonna do a deep penetrator like this, see how much rail draw you can add. 2,434. We're getting into arquebalista tactics here, which can be useful if people are not building designs that are redundant. That's where the Gimli wins a lot of those battles. They're really good ships, but the Gimli brings the arqueballistas as a side gun, and you know, they just penetrate and shoot through ships. And if you're not redundant and you only had one engine, well, game over, you're dead. Only had one AI, well, lucky hit, you're dead. So that's what we can do with. If we are facing enemies, or if we are facing builders that think that, you know, me getting hit here and there is probably not that likely, so I'm not gonna make a redundant design. Well, take some tips from my YouTube tutorials and you will win every time. That's what I'm saying there. But yeah, Sanne Mittbonen, maybe you should do this Q&A. You're very much effective. 400mm kinetic, yes. 500mm chemical, absolutely. Right. So, RocketInator, when do ring shields become better than planar shields? Well, we kind of already talked about that a little bit before. Ring shields very rarely become better than planar shields, but theoretically, if you have a wooden thing, especially a small wooden craft, and you want to boost the small wooden craft's AP class and just make it generally better, well, you can use some ring shields instead, because the planar shields, it doesn't matter if you have a tiny boat or a large boat, they take a lot of engine power, and the ring shields, the smaller you are, the less engine power they kind of use, so in that way they can be useful there. But you know, ring shields have their space too. If you are looking at heavily armored frontsiders that are mainly working with sandblasting, it can be a good idea too. Anyways, I think Borderwise made a video some years ago where he made one of his ships with planar shields and one of his ships with ring shields. Now, those data he got from that might be a lot outdated by now, of course, but in that test, the ring shield version actually won, even though one can argue it's a good bit of luck as well. But yeah. So, I think I'll need to clean up this list a little tiny bit here so that I'm not confused. And before Twitch forces that upon me, I'm going to take that area and have a 60-second ad break. Very smart, am I not? But of course, I guess one of you, some of you will see this anyways, but I don't need the break at this time. So, paddle wheels, check. They're most efficient weapons ever made. Not sure, but we looked at my best guesses. Ring shields don't help that much about fire. They are not as good anymore because of that. Is there any... did you... Yes. All right. We got into that question a little bit briefly. We shall be continuing on that in a few seconds, unless some folks are having the break. All right. Hope to not lose my voice here. Anyways, I'll need to fix my mullet. I feel like it's starting to not look like a mullet. I just discovered mullet is a tag in Twitch. Not being a very well-versed Twitch streamer yet, you know, I didn't know that the tag sections is just basically a bunch of jokes and you're not supposed to put anything important in there. I just learned that today. So today I put in mullet and handlebar mustache in my tags, because that's obviously what the tags are about. I thought the tags were used for useful things, but apparently not. So, is there anything I would change about the game? Well, there is a lot I would change about the game. I think the art style of the different components are kind of desynced here. Like the laser components look like archaic and really old. And the missile components kind of look semi-old as well. While we have these super new, sleek, like modern things for plasma, Cram's got a big update, and APS, it comes again with this archaic, very old look. I don't know. I feel that it's kind of all over the place. Desert Dragon, good morning Vietnam. What? Is it morning in Vietnam? And are you there, Desert? Anyways, welcome to the stream. And Desert Dragon is our community manager at Discord. Actually, Desert, I should probably make you some kind of, what is it? Moderator for the stream as well. Yeah, I should probably do that. Tell me if you don't want to be that. Anyways, it's like 3 a.m. there. Oh god damn it, that's late. Necro. Water, absolutely. We have hydrated. We have not hydrated enough, apparently. So, what I was saying is that this game, it feels like it's... this game feels like 3 different art styles at the same time, all the time. And it's, you know, it's a little bit annoying, to be honest. I would like the art styles to be streamlined, because when they are not, we'll have to like fill that up ourselves, you know. All right. Now I'm in Texas now, right? And DV about making me mod, fussing about with a 3D printer. Well, that's nice. 3D printers are very nice. Negro's program. Yeah. The game feels like 8 different art styles trying to smash each other repeatedly. Yeah, that's like the average experience of playing this game. Smashing pieces. This is like a refined version of you know, being 5 in the like sandbox and like smashing things together and hope they work at some time. And after like, I don't know, 3 years of in-game time, you're starting to understand about how things work, and at that point you realize that you could probably have had an engineering degree by now anyways, and your life choices made you spend that in gaming instead, but whatever. Now you know from the depth, and here you shall stay. No, I don't know. But yeah, there are different art styles. That's a little bit annoying. I think the AI setup is a bit of a hassle. It doesn't need to be that hard and complex to set it up. Like, some things are just stupid, and I always have a shell installed. You can see I have a shell installed on every turret because I don't want to set up the shell every time I spawn a turret. And now you can have magic turrets that are automatically appearing on your ship without needing to have this thing, which is really annoying because they don't magically appear and save on turrets, so I still need to have this thing on turrets. I know it's nitpicking and it's not very important, but that greatly disturbs me. Okay. I have a lot of good suggestions on how to improve the game, but unfortunately I never remember them in my head for long enough. Oh, one thing that's really annoying, it's the damn wooden texture. Like, what the hell is this? Why does it just end like this? So we have this surface of the wood and we have this surface on the wood. This surface of the wood looks absolutely beautiful, and then we have like gray sad wood just beside it. And the worst block of them all, it's the ugliest block in any game ever made. Look at this horrible thing. Like, we have shitty wood there, and we have like some kind of metal reinforcement. Why? And then we have like polished wood here. Why? It doesn't make sense. It looks ugly, and yeah, it hurts my eyeballs too, very much. So that's the only reason I had to sacrifice my trim color to use for wood to make the darn wood pieces look like, you know, wood, kinda. It's the only reason. I could use my trim color for something decent if I didn't you know. And now I'm forced to use my trim color to basically paint over super ugly wood. So wood is really annoying too. Stone is kind of annoying too, because it looks like, I don't know what it's called in English, it's mexitegel in Swedish, but it's basically, you know, I think it's like low-cost bricks from the 60s or whatever. They look like absolute shit. Like, can we just have gray stone or something? So now I have to, and I don't have any more fleet colors to use for this, so I have to either paint them with my secondary fleet colors to at least get black wood and not being forced to watch that super ugly 60s cheap brick, or I have to set up a specific, you know, color to kind of be my stone color. Very annoying, small things, but it's mostly aesthetical things. Yeah, there is actually a lot of things that could be changed, but you know, it's still a good game. We have, of course, the obvious big things. Multiplayer doesn't really work very well. That would be nice. I mean, one and stone looks like slightly moldy cheese. Yeah, I can see that. It's like, it's probably going bad, but maybe if you brush the top layers off, it might be okay. You may not get sick. Custom Planet multiplayer is a pain. Yeah, I can imagine that. I never even dared to try that. Also, one super annoying thing, like, why does the camera have to change to the sub-object like you're on like that? Can't you just, you know, be upright? It's super annoying when you're building on turret blocks that are like sideways and, you know. So I guess we can probably talk all day about things that could be slightly better, but you know, in all honesty, the game is a pretty good game still, and I will still play it even though these issues never get fixed. And sometimes I hope for some issues to not get fixed, because that will force me to rebuild hundreds of hours of stuff, because I, you know, adapted them around the bug, basically. So, steam cheese. Which steam cheese are we talking about, anyways? Do you have any... So John has another question. Do you have any plans to do anything like GMODIST tournament with a different craft? Question mark. Yeah, so obviously we have a lot of different things to make. That's definitely. We're like literally working on new battleships. For example, this thing. I don't see it as entirely unlikely that we'll have a tournament with this somehow also. It's not decided, of course, but I have many other ships on being made too. So then we also have the trials of the Army of GMODISM, which we had on YouTube. We have the season 1, it's already complete, and the trials, wrong button. Actually, I didn't try to scare you this time, so now I probably actually did. But anyways, the trials of the Army of GMODISM was of course to build a medium bomber. That would be really, really good and nice. And we're gonna have a season 2 of that. So that craft that will be built that time will be announced sometime later. Also, we will be having more tournaments with battleships and stuff like that. And of course, the GMODIST battles, the losers bracket and winners bracket, will of course take place on Twitch here, if you did not guess that. Steam cheese hyperspeed. Making hyperspeed with steam? Are we talking about steam thrusters now? Or how would you make steam super cheese super fast, I wonder? Because if I remember things correctly, the steam jet's top speed is, 120 meters per second, right? Steam jets, yeah. How can you make things faster than 120 meters per second then? That I don't know. If you want to go really fast, use paddle wheels. Yeah, paddle wheels can be used to go really fast. But there is a way to break the speed limit. Oh, well, Arti, then I don't know about it. Please enlighten me. So we're gonna do many more tournaments and battles and challenges and all that stuff. Anyways, in the meantime, Imp asks, APS, why would I use smaller shells, diameter and length? So, you should always use the shell size that is optimal for your autoloader, which is filling the autoloader basically to be as long and thick as possible. But if you're going for example, with 1 meter ones, you can make a shell that's really slow. So if you want to have a shell that's really slow, it's obviously a kinetic shell, which can be pretty good. No, it's obviously a chemical shell, right? If it goes really slow, it's obviously a chemical shell, and then that can be really good. And if you instead want to have a kinetic shell, you can, instead of going to a bigger autoloader, you could just stay at a smaller autoloader, but decrease the caliber so that you can fit 20 modules in some of them, and then you can have the shell being really fast, even though it's very, very small still. So for kinetic ones, it can be a good idea to have a smaller caliber so you can have a longer shell. And if you want to have a shorter shell that's more compact, it can be to fit as much payload as you can inside of a like smaller autoloader basically. Right. Wait. You can make things go 8,000 meters across the map with steam cheese cools. Well, Arti, please DM me a blueprint as a blueprint file. That would be very nice. We can look at it later. Have something to work on, which want to crash into something else at 500 meters per second. Oh damn, how do you get that speed? Depends on caliber of shell versus your autoloader. So yeah, I don't think paddle wheels are generally cheese, but if they do some weird stuff and makes them go 500 meters per second, it might be a rule that we'll have to create before we do the next tournament and stuff. But that is to be decided. So far, I haven't seen paddle wheels being used in so nefarious ways that we need to ban them. I think they're pretty cool generally, but if I can see some examples that are hard to block with rules, I might change the mind on that, right? So to go back to an earlier question. Right, Desert Dragon depends on caliber versus your autoloader. 100 millimeter caliber, if I recall correctly, means 10 modules per meter. Well, when it's ready, I will show you. Well, Sandemitbonen, that I will definitely want to see. So we shall be continuing, if we're reading this list from the right side. Smart Dolphin also kind of asks, which APS is better? Small caliber, but with long ammo module? Or big caliber, but with a short ammo module? So that goes back to, you know, the previous thing there. If we have a small caliber with a long ammo module, it's really good for kinetics. And if we have a big caliber with a short ammo module, it's generally better for kinetic payload, stuff like that. But it is a little bit, you know, scale like that. But generally, kinetic shells are very good at small calibers and very good at big calibers as well. But chemical shells, they are not as strong in smaller calibers and generally better at the bigger calibers, because otherwise the explosive frag or whatever type of damage they're doing kinda, you know, disappears in the mix. The damage is so small it doesn't do, you know, that much basically. It's like coming with small missiles that deal fire damage. It's like 1,000 mini fires that barely kill anything is a lot less scary than something that actually burns a proper hole, even though their combined damage, or like if you compare them, would it be the same? Alex KSP asks, what is the most space efficient way to make power, especially for smaller spaces? So, the most space efficient way to make power, I would say that is probably custom jet engines. I shall need to stretch, so then you will not see me here for a while. I guess I can do like this. But of course, then I could cheat as well, so I'll stretch the... Thank you very much. That is highly needed. That's like the GMODISM dollars here that you can redeem. That's like my caretaking system to make sure that I'm surviving stream. I am Chaos, you're welcome. Well, thank you. So, most space efficient for smaller stuff. If it's not gonna be underwater, I think we're actually doing, we're having custom jet engines here. Like for example, if we just go to, where are they? I'm gonna take this little sample thing there. I'm just gonna put it here. And yes, we'll take one of the compressors and replace it with a generator, right? And oh, no. Generates power, maximum thrust fraction used for generator. That's right. And this one is resting drive. Can you like propulsion be online? Oh, propulsion response. Can you like just be online, please? Reset this thing. Have we paused the game or something? It doesn't want to work, does it? Oh, wait. Obviously. It's because we did like this, right? Yeah. Good. Now we can do like that. Now we don't need to use that power, of course. We'll need to add just a little thing here to absorb. Please use all our power. Fuel. Fuel is very efficient too, of course. But here we're generating 6,000 power. and we're having a lot of like extra combustors and stuff like that. It's gonna be expensive, of course, as a one-time investment, but we can literally have 1 meter rod like this. And if we really want to boost the power output here, we can of course just skip having, just have a lot more combustors, right? Now we are doing 1000 power. But if we have a little bit more space to work with, I will agree that fuel engines is really good. Custom jet engines make fuel power on demand, and if the power fraction is at 100%, it will not have a flame because there is no exhaust outcome. Yeah, exactly. That I did indeed realize that I already removed the stat there, so it doesn't. Anyways, the thing is that if we have fuel engines, having a injector engine can be a pretty good thing to have here too. Maybe there are no, I thought there were a pretty decent prefab of that here. I don't know, I always use my own, so I'm just gonna spawn that one. Which is, let's see here, where is it? The GMODISM Industries Power Rod. It's called. Neat name. This thing, of course, now it doesn't really do much, but it has a potential of like 16,000 power. And this is not a smaller space, but it's pretty darn good for having some extra engine power there. Custom jet engines, however, if you want to have a lot of engine power in a tiny space, custom jet engines is probably the way to go. And this is a small one, so it's the smallest area, but you're probably at least having the ability of using a large custom jet engine, right? And if you're having that, of course, it's gonna be a pretty decent deal. So if you have a little jet generator, we're gonna put it here, and it's all gonna make power. And the power is now 7,000 from this little small thing compared to this thing there. Of course, a block like this fuel engine, it generates 14,000, so that's pretty cool. We have a powerhouse here like the prefabs. They generate a lot of power pretty compactly too. The nice thing with custom jet engines and fuel engines and stuff like that is that they don't necessarily burn materials when they're not needed. Desert Dragon. Well, see you later. At a time where your people don't need you. So anyways, okay. We also have some steam engines, of course. If you have like a slightly larger space, it can be a good idea to have steam engines. Here we have the 23,000 power engine, which is steam. So that's like a decent stable power to be able to make. But the annoying thing with steam is that you can't really turn them off in an easy way. They're not automatic like that. You have to have ACBs to make them not burn materials when you don't need them. So that can be a bad thing to to have that too. Anyways, I guess we can remove this little thing. So, next question. RocketInator asks, what is the best power per material, power per volume combo you have made? As in one that is that's good at both of them, right? Wait. It feels like, did I miss like a point there, I wonder? because that it like feels like potentially. Oh, that is probably because it's just under the engine. That's probably power per volume and power per yeah, that's engine generated. That's engine related, right? Oh no, as in weapons. Okay. Well, I don't know. So that is like a double stat kinda, which man, I'm sorry, but I don't have that stats in my head. Power per volume and power per material, like both of them effectively dealing damage like that. Well, what could that be? Can it be a 3D cram system still, maybe? Like it could be one of the 3D crams. I think this is pretty compact too. I have a railgun that is very small but deals a lot of damage. But of course, then the firepower. You know, the highest power per volume and max firepower would by all likelihood be a APS gun, right? No, let's see here. It's one of I think if I go and find one of my old Civ scans, I think something look like this could have pretty good setup, to be honest. Because here we're having just belt feds. I think belt feds are very powerful, both in power per volume, firepower per volume, and also space. Belt feds are very space efficient. So I don't know if that's like, you know, materials for one firepower 0.07 apparently. Volume per firepower 2.3 and material per firepower. I don't know if this is necessarily, you know, what we're looking for, but my guess would kind of be that the best thing you can have if you want good firepower stats and good volume is belt feds, but of course they won't hold up for too long amount of time, so it's better for burst fires. Huge missiles, really? Actually, I can leave that there. Then I shall spawn the Deruta KK AOG Metropolis class VLM huge missile launcher. And spawn 2 of them because it's fun. Right, so this is a VLM thing that I made recently-ish. And the stats is well, material cost. Do we even have those stats there? Maybe it's linked up to the missile controller. So, material per firepower is 700, yeah, and volume per firepower is 2.3. Compared to 320 there as material firepower, and 2.13. Okay, so 2.13. Nope. never mind. Try to pause them. Belt fed, slightly better volume. Yep. Apparently it was so, but it's very close, so it's a good guess. But isn't huge missiles like inherently like worse in all regards than large missiles? But I guess that's the initial cost only. That's probably only the initial cost. If we look at materials per second for 1 firepower, 0.298, and here this is very, very nice. Yeah, plasma and packs have good firepower per volume. That's true. Packs can be extremely good firepower per volume, especially if you overdrive them. But packs are not very efficient, but yeah. I actually only have 1 pack turret still. I never had a need to have another one, but I rarely use packs, even though it's a pretty cool extra system. It's the AOG Triad IPE. You see this one? And it has three barrels basically. You've seen this on the Gimle. Now I don't know if they all have the same, but it's rather fire. It's rather like power used instead. Volume per firepower, materials per firepower. Well, the materials per firepower is, I suppose, works. Volume per firepower. It's a little bit... Oh, the annoying thing is it's kind of different between which of them you're looking at, so... Because they're set up in different ways here. Let's see here. Right. Apparently, we have an ad break here, so... But honestly, I'm a little bit bad at looking at these stats. I'm not... I don't usually do that. I just try to make every weapon as good as they can be for that particular weapon, but I don't take it too much into consideration. I guess I'm not very... I don't rely too much on the numbers. It's like the shell designed for the Vigoletta marksman systems. It's like, objectively, it's bad. It is a sabot shell with a slight bit of frag on it, and it doesn't even penetrate, so it explodes on the surface. And that is still kind of more effective than if it would have been pure sabot. And it really shouldn't be on paper. So I always test the things. But of course, having a good, so like cheap firepower, you know, material per firepower, so that you don't have to pay too much materials. Volume I don't think about, because I make so spacious and big designs that volume is completely not the important stat for me. But when you're building like small tanks and fighters and stuff like that, of course volume is extremely important. And then belt feds can be really good. Missiles can be really good. They're expensive, but they're compact too. Packs, absolutely, absolutely. We should be going through here. What's the best? No. Right. Arti, when would you ever not Steam? So when you would not want to use Steam, Steam is a pretty good all-around system to use for most things in terms of big ships. But if you want to be able to turn off your engines, like in campaign or something like that, you don't want to burn materials all day long, Steam might not be the best thing to have. Let me see here. No, that's a turbine. But steam turbines, you know, if you're gonna generate energy for your laser, no, not laser, I mean, if you're going to generate energy for railguns and stuff, definitely steam turbines is basically the only reasonable way to generate that. And if you want to have like this is the engine used on the Gimli, for example, where it's actually 3 engines in one, but it's a really good idea to use big steam, because each of these cylinders, they have a health of 9,000, so any stray frag won't be able to kill it. That's thing is though, even if we don't use it, it's gonna use materials every second, which is a little bit annoying. So having one efficient steam engine that is always running and keeps the ship going, because the ship or craft or whatever it is has some stuff that needs to, you know, it has a standby cost to run it, then it can be a good idea to have that covered with steam. And then you can have custom jet engines and fuel engines and stuff like that to meet the adaptable up and down power requirement, so that it will be a little bit more balanced in that regard. Now, I made a pretty nice new battleship fuel engine, which you look at, you saw on our ongoing little build here. And it's a multi-stage engine, and the funny thing with that is that it can run 10,000, it can like run 10k engine, very efficient. So if you have a standby cost of 10,000, it's really efficient, and it can go up to 22,000 power as a max level. So adaptable power requirement, and you don't need to have spending power all along or all the time. That can be a good idea. What is the power per material on that one? It depends a lot on what it's going at. Like this injector part here is of course not very good at all. If it runs at 100, you can see it's really bad here, but that's also taken into consideration that its gases will be recycled. So if we look at the last little recycling area here, like this engines, when this is going in full juice, this power per material is pretty darn insane. And the engine that like runs the main standby cost is this one. It's a supercharger engine, of course, with the RPM limit of 30. And that has a power per material of 1000. So that's pretty good. Because of course in this case we want the thing to be as high as possible, because this is power per material instead of this thing, when we instead have material per firepower. Because when we're having material per firepower, it's a different, it's like reverse. Yeah, that's like better. Just curious, and belt feds, yeah, pretty cheap for the firepower. So yeah, but yeah, so it's pretty decent in that regard. That's really nice on the final stage. Really hard to calculate the final efficiency on multi-stage. Yeah, it depends so much exactly on how much it's using and stuff like that. Actually, we can do like this and just cycle through to removing the structure. Okay, the ducts are still there. Okay, whatever then. But it's pretty cool. Cool, you can see it's cooled. Yes, very funny. But that is an earlier system that I think I actually installed it even on the Draconia. That is where the idea is gotten from. And it has a, what is it, like an injector engine. If it has to use that injector engine to get that final power, it can do so. But before the injector engine kicks in, of course, we have a supercharger engine here that is using a lot of superchargers, and they are pretty, this one is like pretty efficient too. If I ever can find wherever the engine actually is located. I think it's down here somewhere. There we have it. This one is of course more effective the more gas it's being recycled, so yeah. I just run a single stage with 1000 mats, 50% mostly. Yeah, there's nothing wrong doing that. I just had so much fun tinkering with my engines and making them multi-stage as soon as I discovered that you could make that. Because when I found that out, I don't think anyone else made multi-stage engines. I think I got like a tip. Someone said you can make like multi-stage engines, and then somebody else was like, no, you can't make multi-stage engine. And I was like, huh. And then I started to playing around with it, and then I just designed so many multi-stage engines. But it's really fun on the Draconia. We have the, where is it? It has a not very, trash bin gas recycler. This is the thing. So you input gas and you output gas from it. So it goes in and it goes out, and this thing will give you some free better materials no matter how bad your engine is. So that's nice. Yeah, multi-stage engines is not needed, and tinker with that. Tinker with that Unity Earth if you think it's fun. Okay, questions. Shotgun asks, why exactly? Not exactly sure if this is the right place to put the blueprint. Oh yeah, this is this one. But this thing sucks. Everything about it sucks, and honestly, that kind of hurts because of how long it took to build it. It's a spacecraft originally, and the main issue is the AP cannons are trash and the armor is not good for it. So we're gonna look at that. But I guess we can take this one here so we can despawn this platform. RocketInator asks, have you made any faction craft of in-game factions? Scarlet Dawn, Steel Striders, etc. No, I have not made any faction crafts of the in-game faction because I, well, I just, you know, maybe at a date when I don't want to build Army of GMODISM units, but until that time, I will stick with my faction since I want to flesh it out. So anyways, and I can just show you that. If you look in my folder here, if the commissioned officers, they have can just download the folders, all the stuff I have there, and I sort things into fleets. Many of these are of course free on the workshop, but I guess what I offer is all of them, and a neat way to sort them basically. But the way I kind of want to order things is in fleets. So this is like Army of GMODISM's first chapter Wasteland Domination Force, which is of course for the Ashes of the Empire tournament. Here we have Army of GMODISM's second chapter Frontier Fleet, and it's a second chapter because the first chapter is lost at the time when I played from the depth early on, and stuff didn't work with me very well. The newest built thing here, I think, is the little croquette airship. It's very cute. And yes, I will need to randomize these numbers. That takes code though. Yeah, but it's like this fleet. I need a few more ships, but generally I should, when I filled in my last forces, I should be able to actually do the campaign finally. And then of course, Lieutenant Scooby Rocks was our admiral for, I think, more than a year of very generous support there. So during that time, we built the AUG constabulary with the sheriff, the deputy sheriff, and state trooper and officer jet fighter, and all of those units, which yeah, very, very nice. That's of course its own fleet. And then I don't know what to call it, so Xauberkrau, only real faction builds. I made true our GMODIST Industries with Storm-made colorless color scheme. Yeah, but Storm-made doesn't have gold, but it has a beautiful teal color that doesn't work as well in From the Depth. But we are using it as decoration from time to time, and all the lasers has to be teal, and all plasma has to be teal. That's in-game stuff we do. It's just one breadboard with 3 parts. Yes, Sunamit Bonan, it is. I can, you know what? I can learn that. It's not that hard. It's just that I'm reluctant to start on breadboard because I know that my to-do list on breadboards is this long. But anyways, all of the stuff that I didn't know where to put, basically, which is obviously big stuff that can't really work into the campaign, is like the after party version of the Gimli we made with MIA Captain Y, and of course the S. Davidos class big thing, Holy Metropolis Protector Fleet. This is fake Latin for adventure vehicles, so I have something to, you know. And then of course this, the AOG HLP Ryujin Federation fleet with a really big bell carrier and VTOLs that we built for our first admiral ever, which is very, very nice. But anyways, did I answer the last question, or did I? Oh yeah, I did. I just got stuck with explaining weird stuff. But hopefully you thought that was any interesting. I mean, there says somewhere in the title about GMODISM Empire, so I guess that could be been expected. But I want to make the AOG faction more fleshed out before I would tackle any of the in-game factions, because I don't know. I think I also kind of like to build my own style and not have to mimic a existing style, because I don't really like building replicas. So yeah, probably it's not really for me. Do you have any cool small less than 50k craft? Yeah, well this one is really cheap. It's like 12,000. We can actually just delete everything. Let me check the. It's gonna be, of course. Let me check. Oh. Here we have the. So we got this beautiful little rebuild here, I rebuilt this thing. This is Scooby-mation made a pigeon for the trials of the Army of GMODISM first season, and basically built a very AOG fitting design, which I kind of liked, but it absolutely sucked in everything in game. So I took that and I remade it into this barbecue bomber thing, which, as the name suggests, does barbecuing, right? And then Screwmation thought that was a really fun idea, so they rebuilt the Pigeon class again, but as a utility craft instead. So now we have our different rebuilds of his original AOG inspired design that looks a bit similar, you know. Very funny. Now I don't know what we did there, but it's of course barbecuing, you know. And filling the area with a lot of blast guns there. So because we're having some oxidizer in these flamers, you know, when the block's armor class is getting lower, they're getting absolutely obliterated by our revolving blast guns. So this thing is actually decently powerful against the deep water guard, and the cost is just below 50,000. Now that's an airship, of course. Let me see if I have another one. 150,000, too expensive. Too expensive. So that's the thing too. I will add a lot of cheaper things here. Oh. And the anti-naval helicopter, 25,000. It absolutely sucks, but we can spawn that one. Filka class destroyer, a little bit too expensive. So yeah. What I need to make is a lot more cheaper things. The helicopter is objectively bad, I will say. Let's have some marauders to terrorize. But I mean, it meets the criteria. I think it looks cool. That's like its only reason to exist, but no, it's too close. It can't find it. It's too bad. It maneuvers so weirdly. Like, what are we even doing here? I don't know. I probably need to tune that a little bit. It's just combat's too close. But yeah, we'll need to make a lot of stuff that is a lot cheaper, you know. I'll just I gotta go remember to fix that Argais craft. Absolutely. We're going to do that right now, but before that I'll need a tiny little break. So I think we say, what is it, like 180 seconds exactly. That's 3 minutes, or wait. Yeah, 180 seconds break. I'll see you very, very soon. So we're gonna run the ads, in case you didn't get it, but I guess I'll just put on the be right back screen in the meantime. And I'm going to do some bathroom errands. Well, there we are. I didn't dare to bring it with me this time, you know, in case I'm unmuting it. It's I don't see on it if it's muted or not. I need to look at the receiving unit instead. But anyways, we shall be looking at Shotgun's Demolish and fix this thing in any kind of sensible way. All right. So here we have the Demolish. It almost sounds like Demolish. Oh brother, this thing. well, I see. Yeah, you know, yeah. You haven't seen it in a while, perhaps. It looks pretty cool. I like the general shape of it, like 3 hulls like this. It's a pretty nice hull shaping. I understand you spent a lot of time on this. It looks pretty nice. However, so of course I will recommend some stuff on. It changes color every time you spawn. Whoa, that's really cool. Damn. How do you do that? That's cool stuff. I don't know about those cool stuff. Wow. All right. I'm just gonna rely on my cut down views to see what's inside here. Right. So we have a lot of metal here, right? Got some steam engines there in the back to propel it. APS, a lot of empty spaces. It's usually a good thing. All right, if we do a left-right cut here, I can just check about it a little bit here. Has to do with the patterns IDs. I have to look what I put. Again, okay. Well, surely that could be interesting. But it's you're basically changing camo then, right? So you're randomizing the camo. What do we have there, I wonder? I'm gonna check that a little bit later. Look at that. Very nice. Very like we don't have a lot of blocks in there. We obviously need to fill up some stuff there. It's just too much metal. Just gonna no. Not up and down. Back and front. Yes, please. Okay. So we can check what's going on there. We have a lot of armor, honestly, underneath the ship. I don't think it's very likely that we'll get a lot of damage dealt from underneath here. Like, I understand we have some ammo compartments there, and they're explosive and all, and they're just not. Oh, never mind. It's just that portion. Yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty thin there. Right. So we are going to cycle through some blocks here and check stuff. Yeah, randomized camo. Okay, cool. Also, back cannon is burp style of the front ones. Okay. I want to check out the system logs. All right, so here we have ammo. This ammo might be a little bit too close. I would definitely not have the ammo this close to the lasers. I think we better can have them. This can be a little bit close too, honestly. Like for the turret block, I probably don't want to have ammo close to the turret block. They're a little bit close to the AI too here. Yeah. I'd relocate this ammo 100%. Don't have it here. Yeah. Remove the ammo there. This is a little bit less problematic, but I probably don't want a chance. So I'm just removing the. I'm just thinking. Of course, I'm not going to fix it block by block or anything like that. I'm just having some general recommendations there. This is a front sider, right? This is a front sider, right? So that, yeah. Oh, Cloud Guy 17. Yeah, exactly. That's true. I did want to look at the mass driver clip nuke machine gun thing. That's absolutely right. I did just contact the Cloud Guy Reddit user because I saw a post of the clip nuke thing, which is awesome, and I could never build that thing. But definitely, that would be very nice to check out after this. If you are in my Discord, otherwise you could join and just DM me the file. That would be the easiest way if you don't have another preference, of course. All right. We have a lot of surge protectors here too. I'm not sure we need that many. But obviously, I'm gonna check here. So yeah, the ammo was all too close to the lasers there. We didn't have a protecting layer between there. I don't really know what is the rubber doing here. I don't think that rubber is really needed there. Probably a little bit more surge protectors here in the front than we'll need. Now, since this is a front sider, it's pretty important that we can have a lot of health points in the front. So I think I would like add a lot of wood in the front here. So we have some. Yeah, okay. We got a little air gap there thing. But I think I would first have like a layer of wood, something like that. Then have like, if it's gonna be a front sider, you know, probably wedges, alloy or metal or something like that, to just cover like the front portions. Or actually, maybe this nose of the thing here, that's too narrow, so we don't need to care about that. That nose can be as is. So we don't need to do that there. We could probably add metal. So when we're starting to get into an important box, somewhere like here, we could probably fill it here with these. Now, this is gonna affect floatiness a little bit, so to not mess things up, let's just say we're having this. No, it doesn't wanna cooperate, whoops. It's because packs were in the rubber. Okay. Well, thank you, Cloud Guy. I'm gonna get that file. It will be very fun to check that out later. Well, thank you. So then we have this here, right? And then you would kind of mitigate the damage coming in from stuff like kinetics and similar. And then, of course, it wouldn't be advisable to put the wood in like this direction, but having like a lot of wood in the front here as some kind of HP sponge also gives you a lot of lift, but it also gives you, or not lift, float, but it also gives you a lot of health points. And this is, of course, applicable for all of these tubes here. Before we're getting to the turrets, because these are, of course, an armored turret, I would say, this being a front-sider, 2 meters of metal is already enough, and you're not supposed to face the enemies from sideways anyways, so that applique panel I don't think we need to have there. Oh. But I wonder why the bottom of the turret like this is only defended with wood, since the turret block down here is the most sensitive block in all, and is, in my opinion, if you're going to choose what you're gonna armor with heavy armor, I would say armor the front of the turret, you know, like this, but don't put so much heavy armor on the sides. You can armor the sides, but leave the back like open. You don't need to have heavy armor there. The amount of stuff that's gonna damage you is probably not gonna reach very much from the back, so you don't need to count with that. The only exception is, of course, if you're having... shell do you have here? Oh, okay. It's a railgun. It's, oh, yeah, all right. You got a pure railgun here. So if you have a pure railgun, I would definitely not have them without ejection emergency defuses and ejectors. Yeah. And if you want to have, if you don't want to rebuild these, whoops, sorry, I would probably just change this to a kinetic one, like sabot, and just sabot, you know. I don't know how much railroad them use, but you get some really good armor piercing values there just going through the targets. Because if you're gonna have that kinetic stuff going on there, it doesn't matter if you get blown into smithereens by any side. And when you don't have that, you can also remove the armor from the back of the turret, which is not needed there. Now, the second thing I would definitely do is, you can see beneath this turret here, and just do like that. How expensive is this, by the way? 1.7 million. I would always have heavy armor under the turret block, because that block is so darn important that it's definitely advisable to have some heavy armor. Here we have a computer for this turret, which is not EMP insulated. So I would definitely have an EMP insulated system there, so that onto the turret, on the turret block, it's kind of surrounded by rubber on all the sides it's connecting. Yeah, definitely. And having like one surge protector, just a small one on like the side or somewhere onto the turret block, so it doesn't run away. To be fair, it can't float on its own. In the first place, giant metal brick props on the bottom is more worthy. So I'm not worried about the block weight, no. I can see that. Adding a lot more wood will make you a lot more floaty though. And here we have like, we have like solid material down here. I think that's excessive, because the amount of damage that you will be dealt from underneath in terms of this design is probably very minuscule. I do know this was a spacecraft originally, so obviously it's built for probably being above targets, but at this point, that a lot of that could be just removed. Now this we have this thing needs to be placed on a bit of rubber, because this is just not EMP insulated and it connects metal there, so these are just gonna get fried if anyone gets if anyone brings some EMP and stuff like that. But honestly, like this like stone magazine below it, I'll probably just remove it in its entirety. I don't think it adds anything useful. I think it just adds weight. Having a lot of wood is probably what we need here. Also, some stuff kind of activates when we are, we just do it like this, when it's penetrating and they have like fuses that trigger them and stuff. So it can always be a good idea to have like some sheets of wood like before we get to our real armor, so that we can trigger stuff that have some type of explode from first impact and stuff like that. Likewise, on this side, of course, it's better if it's fitted smoothly like that. So here we have a LAMS node. This LAMS node is EMP susceptible. You could either insulate it or accept that it might be shot off, or have a lot of them, of course, but yeah. And here we have the same issue. We have a missile system with a missile controller and a weapon controller, local weapon controller, that is not EMP insulated. So this entire section, like this missile battery, will be deleted, and it needs to be EMP insulated, like from all the contact points, to reliably not die. Sadly enough, it's a bit annoying. So you can of course put it in a box of metal like this. That's absolutely fine, as long as the box of metal doesn't connect to the rest of the hull. So if I do like this, and before I remove the last block, I'm just going to lazily do like this, you know? This is kind of what I mean, so when we remove this thing, we can connect the sides here with metal and stuff, and it will be fine. The box inside is insulated. The corners, see there, corner to corner, they don't really meet, so it is in fact now detached. Now the LAMS node is of course not safe, but to make them a little bit more safe is to think that it's probably gonna hit a little bit more, you know, in front of it, and if we just have a tiny little surge protector there, maybe it goes there instead. So that's for EMP. I think we have a lot of EMP susceptible areas here that probably needs fixing to make it a little bit more survivable. So all of these are of course a bit susceptible there. And water propellers also have a EMP susceptibility, but it's decently low, so you don't need to EMP insulate all of them. It's not that important. I would definitely put smoke defense inside of the vehicle rather than outside of the vehicle. Let's see, what's the range on these things, I wonder? Warn if laser is hit within 20 meters. Deploy smokes within range of 10 blocks. Yeah, so this one is probably not gonna deploy anything, is it? It probably needs to, like, I don't know. It could deploy all of them for sure, but otherwise we'll need to have the smoke a lot closer to. So for example, having exterior smoke absolutely doesn't help that much. Also, material use per second for smoke should be probably set to max, especially for larger stuff there. So if we take this thing, like for example, I would probably put this smoke module around here. So everything they work inside crafts. So everything around or inside of this green circle is now smoked. Now that also means that if you have LAM nodes that are passing this smoke, well, then the LAM nodes will be weakened too. So, you know, everything that's going through this sphere is being smoked. So if I have a laser going through here, it's going through smoke, so it will be weakened even when it hits back there. So it's important for one-siders and front-siders. It's most important to have smoke in the front, so that anything coming in there will have passed a sphere of smoke before it gets there. So that's definitely something I would do there. Now, if you want to decrease lag, I would probably delete the spotlights, or at least turn them off when they're not in use. Since it's a bigger craft, it's 1.7 million, it's possible that it will be taking place with some bigger battles. And if it does, it should probably not have the lights on, because if it will shine on the enemy, it will, the lag will spiral out of control pretty quickly. Here we have also some EMP susceptible areas there. Yeah, and laser warners should of course be set up so that they actually display the smoke they're getting at, and these smokes should probably be set to max material use and a shorter trigger time. Now, smoke dispensers are a little bit EMP susceptible though, and since they're pretty important when you're working with you know, certain types of weapons, it can actually be a good thing to put them on just a block of rubber so that they won't budge like that here. Now, I don't know. This seems to have a good bit of engine power to spare. This thing can work with either planar shields or with projector shields, but I would definitely suggest it has one of them at least. If we have planar shields, we just need a couple in the front here. Like, maybe we can have even double layer if we want to be extra safe, but we'll need to, of course, do shields like that with the shields, so that they can just deflect off and not into anything else. That would make most sense. Now let's see here. No shot here. Yeah, that is very sensible. It actually, one could argue, it seems to have pretty thick armor, to be honest, from above back here. But again, there may be mortars. But is this like 1, 2, 3 layers of metal? I think 3 layers of metal can be a little bit excessive on a deck, because most damage won't come from above. If I would build like that, I would probably have like wood at the innermost layer, and perhaps back up the metal with a little bit of alloy, and then have some metal on top of that. I think that would be much more cost efficient there. Oh, and here we're having a turret neck. I wouldn't recommend having turret necks, but if you want to have that, it's good that it's at least 5 by 5. So for example, this one, now I would probably make like a neck of 5 by 5 of heavy armor, and then have the whole meted pretty neatly. And of course this should be encapsulated with heavy armor. Now again, the backside of this I don't think should be armored with heavy armor. If you want to have a pure railgun system, I would absolutely change this shell to not contain any chemical round of any kind. Just make it kinetic. You can have hollow point, you can have heavy head, and you'll get a decent mix of damage. The Ryujin battle carrier is using heavy head and hollow point pure railgun, so that is pretty decent. It also has shields. Okay, cool. I have ACBs to turn off them to save power when not in combat. Well, that's a good idea. All right. So here we have a cram cannon. Now cram cannons can be really, cram cannons can be a little bit tricky here, and having these types of nicks like this. Wait, is this? No. Okay, I'm building on the turret. Never mind. So having thin connectors going up like this, I don't think is a very good idea. Rather, I would probably continue this Tetris pattern upwards. If we check the stats here, we have a material per firepower. Oh yeah, material per firepower. This one, and we try to combine all of these together to a decent material per firepower, because this middle one is obviously like god level excellent. But yeah, we are, however, having a 2D cram Tetris. I would definitely not have a 2D cram Tetris. I would probably have a 3D cram Tetris. And if the barrels have slightly different reload speed, who cares? If you want to have multi-barrel, it can work pretty well with that anyways. Now, it's a little bit difficult to see what fuses. Oh no, there are the fuses. Time from first impact. That's a pretty decent shell. I would mix it up, however. So one is perhaps 0.9. One is perhaps 0.5, 0.05, probably a good idea. And yeah, could be nice to have a good little mix there, but definitely, I got some 3D cram tutorials, but perhaps I should make some new ones also. But it's highly recommended to have 3D cram Tetris. Also, I would continue this Tetris pattern all up to the connection point with the firing piece, because here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we have so many single points of failure. And if the 3D pattern goes up to the like firing piece snugly like that, then like stuff in the middle can be blown up and the turret can still work kind of decently anyways. Which is why I prefer thick nicks there too. Oh, so here we have a little shield. So I guess the shields are individually activating then. I would definitely, instead of having one ACB to protect each thing, since ACBs are susceptible to EMP, I would probably just make an EMP insulated area and just have the ACB turn on and off all of the shields when there is an enemy, you know. This looks very cool. So what do we have here? We have a interceptor. So these interceptors are just too long. There are too many components. They will not be very efficient with this layout. So here we have a missile connector, great. So I would instead use medium here, since you have that selected length, or make them just be one block. You can make that too, probably like this, and have yeah, like this. If you want them to turn quickly, have here fins. Make it a turning thruster, can use up all of it, ditch the fuel tank, have an APN 100% of the time, drag up the gain. But for a turning thruster, you can have the gain a little bit lower, by the way. Actually, gain 1 works pretty well. And missile interceptor, yeah, coordinate like that. I would do that for all of them, or remove one block there and set up it the same way, but for smalls. Right. Gonna warp. Okay, here we are. Of course, there is a good bit of work to do to make this decent, but here you can see the LAMS lasers you have here. They are also EMP susceptible, right? So if you get hit by EMP, I think the main problem with your ship is that your turrets will ammo rack and everything is EMP susceptible. Like this will be nuked by an EMP. All laser components that are not laser transceivers. So this one, what do we have here? Funnily enough, you can see here. EMP susceptible? No. Laser connector? No. That's not EMP susceptible. Connector. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So here we have, you can see it connects. So this lamps node is not EMP protected. So EMP can go down to here, and then you try to EMP protect this area here. Thing is that this particular blocks that are here, which is like laser transceivers and stuff, they're not even EMP susceptible. You don't need to protect them. However, these down here, like nothing is EMP susceptible basically, except laser pump, but because they're connected to laser pumps, we'll need to EMP protect this entire block to be able to protect it. And if you kind of don't think that's worth it, maybe just remove the lamps, honestly. Lamps can be good, but they're not necessarily that important because they take a lot of engine power too. And if you remove those lamps, maybe you have a lot of engine power left. And then you could probably go to the back portion of the ship and like use this empty space to just add a lot of ring shields basically instead of the planar shields, and you can have a pretty strong frontsider that way. Yeah, it's good that the fuel and stuff is under water, but since the fire update, the fuel boxes should probably be moved away from the turbine and stuff there. Also, these ammo stuff, they're a little bit too close to important areas. Like, there is nothing important like around here. We can just have a big stack of ammo there, for example, or like we can just find areas that doesn't matter very much. So, like this area here where we don't even need to have that. Like what's happening here? Nothing. Just add ammo here. We can add a rack there too. Maybe it can blast a little bit to these crams, but crams are a lot cheaper. Needs to be 3D, needs to be thicker. I would do that to better survive. Here we have large missiles here. And here you can see they are also EMP susceptible because they're connected up. One thing I thought about a little while ago was, of course, I'm gonna find the AI too. Where did the AI go? Yeah. So here we have the AI, right? And it's protected by heavy armor from beneath, but not from above. And it should probably only needs heavy armor in the front. But the main issue with it is that it is indeed not EMP insulated. Even though we had surge protectors around it, you know, if we have a big charge like this, it's gonna die. And if we have like a smaller charge like this, I mean, it can go to different places, but it depends also, because if you have a smaller charge, it may not even want to go to the surge protectors. If we are having tiny EMP, the EMP are nasty. They want to do as much damage as possible. If we're having this, it will probably go... Okay, it's too small to even spawn. Let's see, 100 or something. It like might as well go towards the AI components instead of the surge protectors to be able to deal mega damage. So this entire slab should be put on a rubber connection point, and either we could just take the entire heavy armor box that surrounds it, put it up and put rubber around that too. That works. But so EMP is drawn to surge protectors. And when the surge protectors are sitting so close to the AI, having real nuke EMP surges coming at you can probably actually draw the damage towards the AI, kill all of these blocks plus the AI, which is not optimal. And here we have another, this one obviously needs to have some protection. So if I built this there, you know, I would put it here, you know, it doesn't connect to this block below here, it only connects via this turret block. So then we could remove that there, and then we could have a rubber there and a rubber there, and voila, it is now EMP protected. We can fill up with blocks around it. And armor should stick down to the turret block because we really need to protect that much better. Right. And yeah, so if we just play around a little bit with like EMP, a lot of areas are quite susceptible. So if it gets hit a couple of times with EMP, I would suspect like everything is dead. Okay, yeah, now it's sinking. Also, this thing is a front-sider, right? So it doesn't need to go as fast forwards. It probably just needs to be able to turn really fast. So if you could add some azipods, that could be a very nice idea. If you can't do that, you can also hide rudders inside of these big empty spaces. You know, like big rudders, like this. Or like, okay, now it's not the most optimal one to put there, but yeah. So now I put them in the wrong way, but yeah. Anyways, a lot of rudders like this, and you can make it turn a little bit faster there. You can also use rudders if you want to make it go forward, you know, to get some lift too. But I would rather have a lot more wood and alloy, mostly wood, inside of it to make it float better. So you don't need to rely as much on up props, which is of course taking a lot of power. The Gimla knows that for sure. So if we just have a little explosion. Is this a big explosion? That is a scary explosion, but not a insane explosion. If we just have, let's see here if we can. There we can see what happens if we get hit. The entire turret is being ammo racked, which is not very good at all. But if we go into this one, you can see here, sabot warhead. Okay. Assign to all intakes, right? So now it's kinetic instead. Refill APS shells, right? If we are shooting this thing in the air, you can see, of course, it's destroying a lot of blocks. Now we put the explosion inside of it, so of course. But it didn't ammo rack, you know? Only the blocks actually destroyed by the explosion were being destroyed. If we compare that to like this turret, it like ammo racks, and these blocks, like the damage this dealt, you can see all these fragments flew like left to right, up and down, and deleted the entire turret, making us lose a lot of health. And hollow point shell for railgun is it's pretty cool actually. It can deal a lot of damage. 200 meters per second. So we're just gonna repair this thing. Also having rail assisted rather than pure railgun is probably also a better idea, but I understand the coolness of pure rail. And here is the burp guns of the same things. And same for the burp guns there. If you're gonna have chem, you need a emergency ejection defuse, and you need a ejector on each autoloader. Otherwise, the whole thing will just go into smithereens at the first hit. So I guess that is the main things that would need some fixing. If you want to not be hurt by incoming, you know, AP chem shells, I would definitely use some, you know, the classic back-stacked era, right? As a front layer. Just behind the first surface the enemy can hit, I would have back-stacked era there. So if a AP shell comes, it will be deleted the first time there, and you don't even need to make it hit your kinetical absorption area. I guess that's a lot basically, but I guess you don't want this bastardized version of the file. But if you do, I can of course save it for you. But I suppose you don't want that, right? So that's the important tips, I suppose. Are there any other questions about that you would like to be answered? I haven't checked the AI much. Okay. Point at and maintain distance, altitude. I think we should ignore altitude, maybe. Make the PIDs control it. I'll take it, actually. It will be nice to have a reference. Okay, well, then I save it then. I would say a general PID to control altitude if you want up props. That's very reliable, because then it doesn't mess up if you control it manually. That's what the Gimli does. Combat distance, that's... I don't know why you want to have a pitch to target. I would set it to 0, but I would definitely click don't retreat when too close, because if you set that, when it's too close, it will like turn around and evade, and you will be hit in the back and everything will be very, very sad. Right. Look ahead. That can probably be max for a big ship like this. It's on water. Honestly, you have a very thick front. I would not avoid enemies. If someone tries to run into you, probably take it, because it's better than turning around and running away, if you get what I mean, you know? So don't avoid your enemy. Okay, so I mean altitude, no. Water depth required, probably. Turning circle is probably a large bit higher. And we have a hover movement. Yaw lock here, so I don't know why you would have a hover movement, since I'm not sure it adds things, but I may be wrong here. I don't build very many frontsiders, but I would probably myself just use a ship or tank movement here. But I realized that the altitude is controlled by the hover movement, but again, I would switch that to a general PID instead. Show thy butt. It's called aft. Yeah. And you have to rename. You know, it's brains in boxes. It's rude to not name them, right? No, just kidding. I guess that's so then I'm going to save it. I'll give it to you later there. And if there is any other question. Oh yes, of course. I'll spawn a couple of marauders just so we can see what's happening. Oh god, that's too close. Something like that. Here we go. Oh. Well, crams are flying in nicely. Definitely. VLMs are popping there. Very nice. But yeah, if you want to have a railgun thing, your railgun, mix hollow point and... mixing hollow point and heavy heads is a really cool thing. And if you want to have, because hollow points and heavy heads has the same speed, so they're a little bit slower, but they have the same speed, so you can mix hollow points and heavy heads freely. It's nice. It's a nice thing. I would probably have the middle of them just be pure sabot, just shooting through, and then have the other ones being, the side ones being mixed heavy head and mixed heavy heads and hollow points. And also, there is one chemical shell you probably can have pretty safely. If the turret if the ship is EMP insulated properly, you know, all over the place, then you can have a little bit of EMP in your shells, because they don't, you know, it's just the EMP surge, and if it hits you, it will get into the surge protector, but it won't like blow up the entire turret. So there is that exception. You can have a tiny little bit of EMP. Depends how you want to rebuild those. No. Sorry for the bastardized version here, but I guess it's a nice little reminder to check out. And I guess you've used general PIDs before, because before we had to use AI PIDs, but here we have general PIDs, general purpose, and we can just set this to propulsion vertical input signal altitude. Or we can just have a fake set point, whatever, which is probably just fake set point. And yeah, if we set this to like really high, of course we want to set it to the proper altitude we're actually at, but if we set it like this, it would just continue to go upwards and upwards no matter what, which is probably not what we want. Anyways, before we end this stream, we'll need to check out that file. Oh, we got a file from Arti there too. Spawn it. I'm gonna put it there. Before Twitch harasses me, I'm gonna run 30 seconds of ad while I download this stuff here, because then they want to do it for me very soon. And constructibles, okay, save it there. Perfect. All right. Well, oh, I should probably check in case I didn't get any more questions in the Q&A thing. Good. Anyways, if you have any questions you're thinking about right now, you can of course ask away in the Twitch chat, because then because of course we went through the pre-saved questions. So, oh god damn it. So we're just gonna rapid fire return mass-driven APS clip nuke. Oh god damn it. That is pretty crazy. This is on its own platform thing. It's absolutely insane. I suppose this needs to be put into God mode to not instantly die. Hold the T to fire. Oh, very cool. So we are going to reload APS shells. I'm just gonna sorry. It will. It fires on AI also. Got it. We probably need a proper enemy though. We're gonna put it in God mode then. All right. It's very cool. I never investigated much a mass driver before, so that's absolutely very cool. Because when I last checked, it was like before, I guess you could do it with breadboards, so many of the mass drivers were just like... Yeah, I don't know. They were using like simple weapons to shoot off stuff and... No. This is very, very interesting. Well, I'm going to not control it and spawn in via the AI here. Probably something larger. Oh damn, look at that. It's insane. Wow, okay. Yeah, mass driven, I mean, it is... Wow, okay, damn. It is unfair in every sort of the way. I don't know, look at that, and it's returning and reloading. This is absolutely insane. Look at it. That's so cool. Oh well, Cloud Guy, the thing you made here is very, very impressive. No. Isn't the crossbones like very dead by now? This is absolutely insane. So we have a little breadboard for each of them. Wow. That's insane. Eject, cool. The sentence for reloading isn't complete, so we'll need to be respawn between salvos. Okay. We're going to get this thing here because we'll have to spawn the Gimle as an enemy, of course, and see what it does. However, we need to turn down the game speed to 0, or not 0, very slow. We'll see how it deals with the Gimle. Very interesting. This is just absolutely crazy. But man, Cloud Guy 17, the thing you made there is highly impressive. Now I will kind of turn this thing off a little bit in hopes. I don't know if you even can turn it off. I think you can. Okay. Good. Then I'll turn it. Nope. Wrong button. What am I doing? Delete thing. Okay. It's possible that I want to see if it is able. Oh yes, it's able. It's able. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna turn down speed here. So here we have the hypercharged hollow points. A cluster of them coming in here. Man, the speed of this is insane. Look at it. Oh no. This is why it's a good idea to have planar shields sometimes. A good bit of them bounced off, but the rest of them missed, so it's not that bad. Oh damn, look at that. Is it just me, or does the Gimle look pretty cool in scarlet colors? Looks like vampire ship. Look at that. Thank you. Oh. I think it's I'm not controlling it somewhere. No, it's it just decides to target that area. Okay. Oh, there we got impact. Look at that. Just one little charge from this thing, And all of the other ones like missed, so it was a little bit unlucky there, but you can see, oh damn, the damage is pretty insane. We're running this in the slowest speed possible. So it is absolutely insane. Well, very cool. Oh. And the thing is, it's like not that expensive with each of these systems. Of course, it's mega cheese. We're just gonna spawn another one of them there. Oh damn! Never mind. We spawned it on the wrong team. That was stupid. Well, I just will just keep spawning them. Looks like. All right. So it has some reaction time. Aim point wasn't great. No, the aim point it selected wasn't great, but we spawned a friend here. So you can see it working in slow motion here. Man, having clear clips for this can't possibly be a good idea, right? In case it... Come on. Okay, it became a little bit sad, I believe, there, but... Whoops. Maybe the... No, clear clips was a mistake. Yeah. I mean, I guess the method this thing uses is probably extremely laggy anyways, but yeah. So maybe it doesn't make much of a difference, but you never know. I don't know this type of magic, so it might as well have not been a mistake. Look at that. I'm kind of surprised it survived this. What the hell? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you have thick turret caps with air gaps, because you may survive. Hollow points. Yeah, it's very impressive. We're gonna play around with that more in future streams. This is merely the Q&A. I will quickly, and thanks for sending it, Cloudway. It's really fun to see that. Time is, however, running away, so we'll have to end this stream very soon. And this is the thing that spoofs the speed limit, right? Don't know really what it does. Tactical nuke. So it teleports inside enemy, right? APS firing piece. Medium boiler, and we have a steam. Interesting. Oh, and these are automated control box, okay. It's firing piece. What do you have here then? Frag, warhead body, frag head. So just a frag shell in a clip. Is that to kind of trigger something there? Well, this is some magic we will explore later on, but I suppose we can spawn a marauder to try and see what will happen. Beautiful explosion. Oh no, it's just steam jet cheese. Okay. And it goes speed. So if we just no. Now it's underwater though, so that's not too far. Oh yeah, it's a little bit faster than it should be, right? Anyways, we're gonna spawn something. We're gonna spawn something that flies so we can test it properly, right? $200, okay, yeah. It decides to dive down though, so then we don't know. But it's really cool to see though. It's very fun, but it's very, 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 very cheesy in some way. Oh, and there we have the frags, right? That's a lot of frag shells. How can you... That has to be a lot of ammo clips, right? Because this is like a lot of APSGs. 300 meters per second. It goes a little bit quicker than it should be going, right? Well, very cool, very cool. Remove the enemies and then fleet move across the map. All right. If we do like this, and we'll just fleet move it here. I don't know why it decides to go underwater. Oh, sorry, that's probably my aim point, right? Altitude, there we go. Apparently not. Well. Plug and play, G-Tribe. Oh well. I think I saw that on the workshop. We're just gonna lift it up there. Well, it seems to want to go a little bit low there. But in any case, we will indeed say thank you to everyone who got to tune into this stream, and thanks for all the questions. I hope you got the answers that you wanted to get. But we're unfortunately out of time. But Arti, we will look at it a little bit more next time, and definitely Cloud Guy, that clip nuke thing. You said you would update it too. That would be interesting to see too if you decide to do that, but otherwise I'm going to check again on the thing I already do have. But other than that, hope you enjoyed this little stream, and I'll be seeing you on our future streams. And if you haven't done that already, you can of course follow the channel if you want to get a notification and stuff when we stream next time. Well, our Xaber Crow is moderating nicely, very nice. Well, thank you everyone. We'll catch you later. So, well, bye-bye. Nice stream.